Welcome back. And in this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about you've been shopping, you looked at a million homes with your agent, you've been pre-approved, you finally found a home that you think this is the one, and what do you do now? Now's the time that it's time to get it inspected. And what should someone look for in a home inspector? First of all, they should be licensed in the state of Illinois. Believe it or not, there's guys out there that are inspecting that are not licensed, or they've got their license lapsed. They want to be certified either through ASHI, through AHIT, or through InterNACHI. You can go to their websites and find out if they have been certified. Education is a very, very important thing with that. Interview your home inspector. Some of the best phone calls I've had, I've spent 30 minutes on a phone. Just don't take the first one that you call. Just don't take the one with the best price. Interview them, because you got to remember the job that they're doing is providing you with an education on what you're about to spend a whole lot of money on.
Yeah, and inspectors should definitely be comfortable answering any questions that you ask them. Again, this is a very big investment for you, and the inspectors should realize that and treat it as such. So they should definitely encourage you to ask any questions that they have. They should be ready to answer, with certifications, with how many inspections they've done, how long they've been licensed, their training, any sort of qualifications, certifications that they have. Any inspector, I guess I can comfortably say, worth their salt, should be comfortable asking their questions and encouraging you to ask them.
Yeah, probably one of the best compliments I ever got paid was from a real estate agent. It was the first time this agent had used me, and whenever it's with a new agent, I always try and calm them down a little bit, because when they work with a home inspector that they don't know, we really scare them a lot, because they have no idea what they're getting with that. And so about halfway through the inspection, she looked over to me and she said, "You're human." And I said, well, yeah. And at first I didn't know how to take that exactly. But what it boiled down to is, I spent time with my clients. I just didn't walk through with my to-do list, which, we have routines that we go through so that we can make sure that we cover everything. But, we're explaining, we're talking, we're answering questions. One of the biggest things that I tell my clients to bring to the home inspection is questions. I want them to bring as many questions as they can think of, because that's the best time, is while I'm there. Not that they can't have questions later, but, while I'm there, it's a lot easier to show and tell, so to speak.
Yeah, that's why we definitely always encourage our buyers, if possible, to be at the inspections with us. Kevin and I, we always have our reports out within 24 hours, and those reports can sometimes be a little intimidating if, number one, you've never been to an inspection before, and number two, you don't have anything to compare it to. Our reports can be anywhere from 20 to 30 pages, lots of pictures, all annotated, recommendations, summary pages. It can be a very scary document. That's why we like having the buyers there, so we can give them, context, and sometimes talk them off of the proverbial edge if, something is potentially a major issue.
Yeah, when it's time to schedule the home inspection, a normal, once they've signed a contract on a home, a normal attorney review is going to be anywhere from 5 to 7 days, sometimes 10, but it's usually 5. And, you definitely don't want to wait to the 5th day. We have people sometimes that'll call us and say, I need this done by tomorrow. And 9 times out of 10, we try and make it happen for them, because we understand. And we even try and get the report out that night for them, because we understand that as well.
Yeah, Kevin and I can definitely be flexible with scheduling. I think the earliest I've done an inspection is 7 a.m. because that's the only time that has worked, for the buyer. So again, between Kevin and I, we're definitely able to accommodate just about any request. I'm usually up that early anyway, sometimes earlier, with, a 2-year-old and a newborn at home. I don't sleep much anyway. So.
And how much time does a home inspection take? A lot of people don't take that into consideration. I hear things all the time. It's like, oh, well, this inspector, he was only in the house for 30 minutes or an hour or something like that. And it just doesn't make sense to me how someone can inspect a home in that, an average single family home in that least amount of time. We tell them between 2 to 3 hours is going to be the time. And it really kind of depends on what we find. We don't put a timer on it. There's been small homes where, I've been there 4 hours, and there's been big homes where I've been out in 3 hours. It just really kind of depends on the home. So it's a kind of whatever it takes, to do that.
Yeah, we can give you an estimate, but at the end of the day, we're in the home as long as it takes to get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, how should they prepare? Like, so we already taught them. Bring a lot of questions. One of the first things I'll ask them before we go in the home, I'll ask them, is this your first, it's usually their first or second time back to the home. So, and I will explain to them, I said, look, your first or second time in, you were coming in, wanted to figure out what wall you were going to tear down, what you were going to paint, where you were going to put the big screen TV. And I normally give them an assignment. I want them to go through the home this time with a different set of eyes. I want them to go through the home with a set of eyes. It's going to maybe pick out things either they don't understand, they don't know how it works, or it may not look right to them. And it's important at that point then, again, while we're there, we can answer that question and explain that instead of them, really not knowing what's going on with it.
Yeah, in addition to, preparing yourself for the home inspection, we still offer ourselves, post-home inspection. I think I mentioned in a previous episode, Kevin did my wife and I's inspection about 2 years ago, and we were first-time home buyers, naturally, a little overwhelmed by the process with the lenders and, appraisers, everything else that goes along with that. And I can recall the first week after we had moved into the home, I called Kevin or text him every single day with a question. Totally overwhelmed, didn't know what I was doing. Texting him pictures, hey, what's this? I don't know what this is, I'm freaking out. And he said, hey, it's just a light switch, take it easy, you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's a house, you can either fix it or not. It's just a matter of having the right education and going the right direction and finding the right professionals. And when I say professionals, qualified contractors, licensed contractors that know, what they're doing to mitigate the repairs or offer you estimates or to do whatever it is that you're looking to do with that. Do you as a buyer have to disclose or tell us anything? What we want to know is, how do you feel about the house? Have you seen anything on your prior walkthroughs that raised an eyebrow? Do you have questions about the style of the house or the structure of the house? Sometimes we can answer those questions. Sometimes we can't. We just have to refer to the next level up, a professional, to be able to do that. And that's what we do. We have our own little toolbox of professionals that we rely on sometimes when we have questions about a home or a process that we're not familiar with. So, we're not afraid to say, hey, you know what, I need to investigate this and we need to find an answer. I don't know it, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I think you summed it up pretty well. I don't have anything to add.
All right. Well, it's real easy to track us down on several social media platforms. You can find us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook page, and definitely go to the website. You'll find more stuff there on us. And, our next segment coming up is going to be talking about possibly, again, the post-inspection. What happens when you get the report? We'll go through that with you and be able to answer the questions. And again, who should you sit down and go through the report with?